Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the Smart Flip with me and Matt, where we help you, start, grow, and scale your phone flipping or buyback business. Today, guys, we're going to be talking about some of the most common myths and things when it comes to flipping phones and electronics that a lot of people, they stop themselves from starting, they stop themselves from growing, they stop themselves from just winning overall. Those of you guys that are just now listening in, this is the Smart Flip. This is the largest phone flipping podcast in the world. And if you want more
Hey,
information on other stuff, you can check out my YouTube channel. I got nearly 2,000 videos specific to flipping phones and electronics. And then also you can check out the rest of the podcast episodes and also make sure to check out the Tech Flips to Profit ebook. You can find that for free on episode 11 of the podcast. We are also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts as well. So, with that being said, guys, we're going to jump in today and start talking about, some stuff, some questions that you guys might have around flipping in general. And we'll help you guys get those answered. And hopefully, it helps you start your business, grow your business, or, who knows, maybe even scale your business. So, with that being said, let's kick it off. So, I had ChatGPT come up with a bunch of common myths and misconceptions and questions, more like a frequently asked questions kind of format, which I think will be good for today. Um, the first one, a lot of starting out myths, right? So, number one, and this one's a pretty common one, is you need a ton of money to start flipping. All right. So, this isn't true. All right. A lot of people think that you need like $10,000 to actually start this business. That's just simply not true. I had a guy the other day who messaged me. He's like, dude, I don't have enough money to flip. I was like, well, how much do you have? He's like, well, I got about 5 grand. I'm like, dude, that's plenty. Like, all you're gonna do is recycle that cash, you know? And I get other people that reach
yep,
out and they're like, Chris, I
straight
only
up.
have like $500. And I'm like, you can buy like five Xbox Series S's with that and flip them for 1,000,
That's true.
you know?
Yep.
Like, so you don't need a ton of money to start this business. It's not necessary.
Hmm.
I've seen people actually start this business for free. Like they'll go around, they'll ask their parents or their family or their friends about their old
Yeah.
electronics that they have, and they'll just give them to them.
Yep.
And it doesn't even have to be electronics to start this business either. You can just flip something and get some money, right? Like I think Matt, your first flip was like a baby carrier, right?
Yeah, it was a backpack that I used to carry my kids around when they were small, and I had it sit in my garage. Like, people think you need money, but reality is, guys, you could consign stuff, like Chris was saying. You could sell stuff on behalf of other people. You could sell stuff you already have laying around the house because that's free. And you could literally just search Facebook for any curb alert and find. I mean, I found four CRT TVs, Sony Trinitrons with remotes because there was a dentist who was trying to get rid of them, and he just put them on the curb. He said, "I retired. I don't want them anymore." Free, totally free, like $150 each, sitting on the curb.
Wild, crazy, right? So
Yes. Yeah, you don't need a lot of money to start reselling, guys. I mean, but okay, Chris, if someone did say, "Well, how much is enough, or what's a decent starting line?" What would you say?
I mean, I started with $200, so
There it is.
that's a good starting line.
Yeah,
Um, if you wanted money to start, $200 is not a bad amount to start with.
it's true. Yeah.
And you can start with that. So,
Yep.
I mean, there's a lot of, and even if you're just going to go with phones, I'd recommend at the time we're, making this podcast, iPhone 11s and 12s and maybe even a 13, right? The lower end
Uh-huh.
13. You can buy all of those for less than $200 and flip them, all of them,
True. Yeah.
right? Gaming consoles. You can buy like three different gaming consoles with $200. You can buy an Oculus Quest, you can buy an Xbox, there's quite a few different types you can buy
So much.
with
It's
200 bucks.
Yeah, I mean it with consoles, it almost feels like too easy. Like I understand if people are reluctant to buy phones, but you could buy older model phones
Yeah.
because those don't cost a lot. You could buy other electronics, guys. Like I bought some DVD VCR players back in the day for like 5 and 10 bucks a piece, and I was selling them for like 40, 60, $80 each. And I just sold three of them within the past week and a half because I still flip those. And it's like that that stuff out there, those electronics that, you know, the thing that people are thinking is you're thinking about this one dimensionally, guys. Like you're thinking about this as far as like, I need this much money because I need it. No, you need a couple $100, you'll be fine.
Yeah. And you just turn that couple $100 into a couple $1,000, you know? That's how it
Straight
works,
up. Yeah.
right? Just
Yep.
stop yourself from spending it on bills, right? And let it
Hmm.
grow.
Yep.
Because that's what happens is like if you can just put aside $100 or $200 and only use that to flip and just recycle the money. I would even go to the extent of getting a different bank account. Like
Hmm.
that way you can just separate the cash from your bill account, right?
Yeah.
So
That's what I do.
yeah. So I mean it doesn't take I mean it's not rocket science, right? You do have to have some skills and
Yeah.
understanding and learn how to appraise things, just like anything. Everything takes learning in the beginning, right?
Yep.
So, but you don't need a ton of money to start. Like that's a common myth that I want to squash is a lot of you guys you're just stopping yourselves because you think you need, a couple grand to do this. I've seen people come in with a couple of grand and lose it because they don't know what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
better to lose a couple hundred and learn than lose a couple of thousand and learn, you know?
Yeah. It's probably a blessing to that a lot of people aren't. Some people are, but I can think of actually just a handful of folks that have come in with like, oh yeah, I'm doing like 3 to 5 grand, and they immediately scale to doing like 5 to 8. Like it's a slow burn, and that's good. And I think if most people had a couple $1,000s right now anyway, they'd probably find some way to lose more of it than they would like to gradually grow into
Yeah.
being able to sensibly like use more for the purpose of scaling a business. So like the business only goes as you go, guys. Like it's a pacing thing. So you gotta keep yourself in check.
Yep. So another common myth starting out is you need to be a tech expert to flip electronics. I don't think that's true. I wasn't. I didn't even know how to use an iPhone whenever I first started. So, that, yeah.
Oh, were you a Droid phone user?
Yeah. I mean, I still go back and forth every now and then.
Droid.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, man. I mean,
Well, I
you're
mean, I wish
lucky.
people knew we have a member within Console Kings that is like much older. And we've had a guy in Recelerator, two people that were like,
In their
oh, oh,
70s.
yeah, over their 70s. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, if you're listening to this and you're like 20, like what? What?
Yeah. No, you don't need to be a tech expert, guys. Like a lot of people think that's a thing. A lot of people think that you need to know how to fix stuff. And that's just not true. Like I don't know how to fix a phone at all.
Right,
I don't know how to
right.
fix a game console. I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
Um, and a lot of people might look at me and be like, "Why don't you know?" Well, I scaled my business to $10,000 plus per month in profit without knowing how to do any of that.
Yeah.
Because the reality, guys, if you just get good at one thing, you make a lot of money doing that one thing.
Hmm.
Like I got really good at marketing. Therefore, I make a lot of money in marketing.
Yeah.
That's just how it is, right?
Yeah.
You get
Hmm.
really good at buying and selling, you make a lot of money in buying and selling. A lot of
Yep.
people they want to get, how do I even say this? They want to get like moderately good at one thing, and then they're like, "Ooh, I want to add this other thing in that I'm not good at all right now. I don't know anything about it, but I want to get good at that now." So there's a saying out there, the man who chases two rabbits catches none,
Hmm.
right?
Fair.
It's a very powerful analogy to what people do all the time with side hustles. Is they'll I got a really good video on my YouTube channel about this. It's called I'm trying to remember the name of it. It's why most phone flippers fail and how not to fail. Because there was a teaching by Hormozy a while back that goes over the valley of despair. Is when you start something new, you get excited, right? And then when
Mhm.
you get your first win, you get even more excited, and then the
Mhm.
business becomes kind of dull, right? Like it's like going up a hill because you keep winning, and then you get your first loss, and then this shoves you down into the valley of despair where you either quit or you you keep going. You have two choices, right? What
Yep.
happens to a lot of people is once they get down to the valley of despair, they quit and
Yeah.
they just start another side hustle. And then the cycle continues. But if you just stick the thing out and learn, then
Yep.
you would go back up the hill. Because guys, like you're not gonna let me tell you guys exactly what's happening. Is when you get your first couple of wins, that dopamine, is hitting and it feels
Hmm.
good,
Hmm.
right? But as you get more and more wins, like it hits less and less. Like it's not the same. Oh yeah, I bought another phone today, made $250 in profit. Like we see it all the time now. And however, like with our students, they get to post it in Slack, which I think gives them a dopamine hit, in
Yeah.
my opinion. I don't know. Maybe Matt, you can shed some light on that a little too, but I think it does.
Mhm.
The act of posting
Of
never,
course.
it
Yep.
always gives that extra hit. If
Yeah, of course.
you guys can learn to ride that dopamine high, it's nice.
Yeah.
But you don't need to be a expert to flip electronics. Like that's not a thing. Um,
Yeah.
you can, you just need to learn how to erase a phone and erase a console, and you can just chat GPT or Google that,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, guys,
another, oh, go
it's
ahead.
nothing well, nah, never mind. We're we're good. We're chilling.
Okay. So the next one here is there's too much competition now. So I want to be real with you guys. Most people in this business are dabbling, right? Like most people are just treating it as a side hustle. Consistency and just simply having better marketing will wipe out about 90% of people in your area. How do I know that? It's because I did it
Yep.
pretty easily too.
Hmm.
Doesn't take much. If you simply just get better marketing and you actually treat this thing like a business,
Hmm.
you're gonna win. Like most of the people that they don't treat it like an actual way to make money. They treat it as a way to like make an extra couple bucks whenever they need to,
Yeah.
you know? So most people never take this thing seriously. And when you do take this thing seriously, it actually treats you and pays you seriously.
Hmm.
So Matt, do you have anything on that? With people thinking there's always too much competition?
Um, I think people underestimate the degree to which you can take one simple skill and then pivot and apply it to so many other things. Because let's say if whoever's hearing this, if you haven't joined Recelerator, or for those that have, students that I talk to, whether it's in Console Kings or whether, it's, a combination between Chris and myself, once you kind of show them about 5 to 7 items that they can buy and resell, you really kind of run out of capacity to do much more than that effectively,
Yeah.
unless you have employees and a business that's bigger than just you. But if you're going at this as just like a, one man wolf pack, then you're really not going to be buying as much as you think you are. And so this is I think it's just a simple limiting belief that we probably are all susceptible to before we actually figure out what the boundaries of this business feel like. And before you start going, oh, wait, eBay will tell me what anything's worth. I can resell all kinds of stuff. Okay, great. Sky's the limit. And at that point, you kind of realize that you're pretty unstoppable as long as you just don't quit.
Yeah, for real. That's a real thing.
Hmm.
Like I would have to say, like, so I always go back to this, right? Like whenever I moved to this new area, I called all of their repair shops beforehand, seeing if I could find a local buyer in my area so I could just offload to them. This is before me and Aaron were buying from directly from the students and stuff. Um, and I called all of them along with the pawn shops, and like it was like one or two out of 10, or I think it was 15 that I called.
Hmm.
Um, one or two bought phones. One or two.
Wow. That's so
And the ones
surprising.
that did make an offer, the offers were so bad, like that I was like, how do you guys even do this? Like, doesn't make
Right.
sense, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Um, so I thought it was interesting, right? Like
Hmm.
when a lot of people look at their market and there's like there's all these repair shops and all these pawn shops and all these other resellers. Guys, half of these guys don't even reply. Half of them
Hmm.
don't even answer the phone. Most people do not treat this business like a business. Okay? That's a
Yeah.
real thing. And that
Yep.
is good for you. If you're a serious person that wants to make money in this space and you treat it like a real business, it will pay you like a real business. I
For
can't,
real. Yep.
I mean, I've had so many students have what we call breakthroughs simply because they start answering the phone.
Right.
Like, they
Or, they
magically
weren't.
start scaling.
Yeah. Right. Or like if you do answer the phone, like how many people do you think answer the phone with like courtesy and
Hmm.
professionalism?
That's another one. A lot of people don't answer their phone. Um, they'll answer like, "Hey, who's this?" You know, like I'm serious. For everybody that's listening, I I challenge you to go and text the resellers in your area, the pawn shops in your area, call them, do the thing. I have my students do this every couple of months. And the
Hmm.
reason we do it is because I want it like people need to be reminded more than they need to be taught, right? So I have them
Yeah,
do
that's
this.
fair.
I have them do this every couple of months to prove this exactly what I'm telling you guys. It's like you don't have competition, okay? You are your competition. Like
Hmm.
the only
Hmm.
person you should try to be beating every month is you.
Yep.
And if you can do that, you'll annihilate everybody else. Let me tell you guys a story. So I, and this is kind of how Recelerator got to where it is too, is a couple years ago, I 100% put the blinders on. Like I blocked everybody. All my competitors, I unfollowed everybody on Facebook. I just like my news feed was nothing, right? So I couldn't follow anybody. All right, so it allowed me to fully put the blinders on. How the racehorses have blinders, right? Like that's how I felt. It's like I had one sole focus, and it was just create a bunch of videos, do all this stuff, blah blah blah.
Hmm.
And what came out of that was a lot of different things. I mean, Resell Deck came out of that. Recelerator, our current process, came out of that. And all my competitors kept, multiple of them just kept reaching out. And they're like, "What are you doing?" Because they were trying to figure out what I was doing. That because we obviously charge the highest amount in the industry for what we do. And there's a
Hmm.
reason for that. We are a premium service.
Yeah.
But that's all because I put the blinders on, hired amazing people, and here we are, right?
Here we
So
are.
it doesn't take that much to beat your competition when you're honestly just trying to beat yourself every month. Like if you're just trying to I mean, Matt knows this. I'm always messaging Matt because, you
He
know,
is.
he's like my little ping pong buddy when it comes to ideas.
Gotcha, man.
But, he brings good insight and I appreciate it.
Hmm.
So there's not too much competition, guys. Now there is one caveat to this. If you got multiple Recelerator students in your city, yeah, then you got a problem. This is something that we have noticed, and Matt has seen it firsthand. So,
Hmm.
he what trained three people in Tulsa?
Four.
Four, four people in Tulsa. So,
Hmm.
yeah, they were scooping up some deals right underneath him. So,
But,
um,
I mean, it didn't prevent me from, I mean, I don't have the biggest city.
yeah,
It's not like Charlotte's bigger than my town. Um, some other like, yeah, like it's a moderate sized city, like within the city population, we're like maybe 500,000. And if you take a 40-mile radius, we're maybe like about a million. Um, and so it's not that huge, but the cool thing is I think like, okay, so I trained 3 to 4 other resellers, one of them very within the last like 8 months, within the last 2 years, all of them. And then, there are people that also come in thinking, oh, my town's too small. I mean, we have people in this group right now, in this course, students that are in towns of like 150, 250,000. Like,
55,000.
yeah,
Alex Ross.
55,000, 100,000 people. Now I would say like if your town's smaller than 100,000, the best
Well,
way to source would probably be sourcing from your city and then also from some neighboring cities, especially if you're getting started. But here's the thing that I also want people to be aware of. In a town that size, there's probably nobody else buying and
zero.
reselling
I was
phones.
about to say that. You're in your own
Yeah.
little pond.
And if you become the guy, like if you run ads and do reach outs and connect with local pawn shops, like if you just take a knock on a few of those different doors that bring in a diversity of lead generation, it doesn't really, the side of your town is like irrelevant to the level of success you want to have. Like you can make it work. And I think that that'd be another thing that people would say, along with too much competition is like, oh my gosh, this is another just limiting thing that's going to
Yeah,
limit my ability to make the money I think I can make is just,
fair. Yeah. I
yep.
think people just come in thinking there's too many, you guys go to Marketplace and you see all these ads and stuff, and half those people aren't even replying. They're just not. Like
Yeah, that's
when
true.
they do reply, it's like, yeah, come to our store. Or, like,
That's true.
like it's funny. But yeah, moving on. Let's move to the next question.
Let's go.
Um, so some buying and selling myths that are out there.
hmm
You can't make money on broken phones.
Mm,
This is a good one. I like this.
yeah.
Um, so here's the reality, guys. Most of the time, broken phones, you can profit even better on them because you can get them cheaper and sell them for better margins. Almost
hmm
all the time.
Yep.
Okay. I prefer buying broken over used and new every single day. Reason
Yeah.
being is like people are no longer emotionally attached to it once it's broken. And the more broken it
Yeah.
is, typically the better. I can't tell
Yeah.
you guys how many no power phones I've bought and sold for $200 profits.
Yeah.
That's a real thing. Like your iPhone, 13 Pro Max doesn't turn on, cool. $40, bro.
Straight up. I
Can't sell
think
it to the Eco ATM. They won't take it,
they
right?
don't want
They
it.
don't have many options here.
It's
Uh,
true.
and I don't even know what it's going to sell for typically because it's no power. There's not a lot of no power listings on eBay. Like it's mostly cracked and used, right?
hmm
So you have to lowball just to protect your margin a lot
hmm
of times because you would never really know. But I love buying broken stuff. That's my favorite thing to buy by far. Heck, if I honestly, actually, I have a mentor. This is kind of funny. A millionaire mentor who was in this business and then he scaled up out of it and he helped me quite a bit. He didn't even buy new, used. He didn't buy any of that. The only things he would ever buy were broken items. That was it. Like that was his whole business model. And he had like
Wow.
500,000 a year. Like just buying broken stuff. That was it. He didn't, which I think honestly is probably a better model. And I should probably do that. Because
Yeah.
it honestly negates a lot of the negotiation altogether with the people that have used and new stuff. I mean, new stuff is already difficult, and then you already have issues with um, blacklisting and stuff on new stuff.
hmm
It's just a very common practice in that space, which is why I don't really recommend a whole lot of like buying new in box a lot because you're
Yeah.
gonna, that's just my thing, honestly. Because I had a guy who was stealing phones from Walmart and selling them to me one time, and I had to totally cut him off. You know, um, maybe I have a little bit of past history there that I'm not happy with. So, but it is what it is, right?
Yep.
So, um, I mean, same thing with broken game consoles, though, right, Matt? Like,
Yeah, I was gonna say like broken stuff is broken stuff. I think you gotta, I like to consider the possibilities. If somebody has something broken, they don't have the knowledge to fix it. They maybe don't have the income to fix it or don't care to invest it. Like they're already so disinterested in it that what you're really able to capitalize on here is the emotion of the situation, right? Because that runs all kinds of industries and economies is how people feel about their stuff. And when something's broken, they don't want to put forth the effort, the money, the time, the energy. So what are you going to do? You're doing them a favor. You just take their broken stuff, but you take it on the cheap, cheap because what else are they going to do with it? They're going to sell it locally, right? Who's
it's
going to
hard to
buy
do that.
who wants to buy a broken console or a broken phone locally, except someone like who Chris is describing or who we're talking about here, like a reseller, like no one's going to buy that unless they actually know what to do with it to elicit the result and get something out of it that otherwise, you could get if it were working. So be that guy. Be that guy that buys, be that person that buys the broken things because otherwise people don't have any other option. Like you probably are their option and you just haven't even realized it yet. So,
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize it, man. Like it's a real thing. Like
mhm.
buying broken is one of the fastest ways to grow your income very, very quickly.
Yeah. The
People,
margins are incredible.
they are incredible. On gaming consoles, almost on anything broken, really.
Yeah.
You usually make, you know, a lot more than, I mean,
Yeah.
50 turn it into 200, 50 turn it into 150, like it's hard to beat that. 2xing, 3xing your money almost every single purchase is
Oh,
is
yeah, that's wild.
so okay. So um sorry, buying and selling myths. You need to test everything perfectly before buying. I mean, this isn't really a myth, but like I do recommend doing that.
Uh-huh.
Um, it was funny. I was so we had Jeff Duhan on the podcast 2 weeks
2 weeks
ago.
ago. Mhm.
I recently saw one of his Meta glasses pickups, and he didn't fully test an iPad before he bought it. And
Uh-oh.
I was like, bro. And he met the guy in a parking lot and everything, and I was like, bro, you got to test this stuff. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
like I think it ended up not being the model that the guy originally said too. And I was like, dude, come on, that's such a rookie mistake, you know?
Hmm.
I mean, the way that I like to do things to test things, just so you guys not know my flow, is now I will have to say that like as you grow, it will get harder to test things quickly, especially if you're buying multiple things at once. And sometimes you just have to eat the risk. Like that's a
True.
real thing. A while back when I bought over 100 phones from one person, it was being shipped in. I couldn't test them, right? Like that's part of the game though, you know? So um and then I had and that's a lot of work, by the way, testing 100 phones.
Dude, yeah, you're not wrong.
Not fun. Um, but the thing with that is like I actually didn't make that much. I think I made about $3,000, and I thought about it, and I was like, dude, I could have made
Hmm.
this. I could have made more money flipping things locally or
Yeah.
buying locally and then just selling online. So it
Yeah.
was a good learning experience for me because
Right.
it's basically a wholesale deal. But I mean, just test everything. Go inside a place, sit down. That way you're comfortable, and then you can test everything. All right. That's a big part of the game here is you need to test everything before you buy it. But how do you know how to test everything? Well, you could actually have ChatGPT create a little checklist for you, or you can join something like Console Kings or Recelerator where we already have them done, right?
It's true. Yeah.
So, so here's another one, and I love this one. Um, Selling on eBay is dead or too risky. All right, guys, I'm gonna lay it to you guys flat here. Here's how to not screw yourself on eBay. Don't sell new stuff on eBay. Don't do it. Stop doing it. If you're doing it right now, stop. Okay.
Quit it.
Also don't sell iCloud lock stuff. I've had 4 people reach out to me in the past 3 weeks being like, Chris, I got banned on eBay. It's not my fault. I didn't do anything wrong. You go to their account. Oh, what are they selling? Brand new stuff. Oh, what else are they
Dude,
selling? iCloud lock stuff. What else
dude,
are
dude,
they
dude, dude,
selling?
dude.
Blacklisted stuff. I'm like, oh, you didn't do anything wrong? All of these are wrong. So,
Wrong. Yeah.
like, God, okay. The easiest way that I can give this to you guys is um the only things you should be selling on eBay if you're not like a super verified account with like thousands in feedback, don't sell anything new unless you're there. Okay. One of the guys that got banned, he only had like 67 feedback, but he was doing like a few, tens of thousands a month in sales, and he wasn't getting his feedback very quickly either. But he was just selling a whole bunch of new items. Um, Guys, that doesn't look good to eBay. Like you don't have a lot of feedback, but you're also selling only new stuff. Weird. You
It
know,
is. Raises flags.
the balances are big time off, right?
Mhm.
You're not really vetted by eBay yet at that point.
Yeah. You need street
So
cred, folks.
exactly. So to if any of you guys are, getting on eBay, use it for your broken stuff, your gaming consoles, your no power, just use it to sell your junk, basically.
Yeah.
Like, or your used stuff or your check ESN phones, right? Like most of the stuff that goes on eBay for me is either parts or it's not a phone.
Yeah.
And the more diversified you get with it, honestly, the better. Because eBay looks less and less at your account. Oh, he sold an Oculus Quest today. Oh, he sold a Xbox Series S today. Oh, he sold an iPhone today. Okay, cool. This guy just looks like a everyday run-of-the-mill type of guy who's just hustling a little bit,
Hmm.
while I'm sending, 10 phones to a direct buyer on the other side. So, so um, Matt, do you have anything to say about that? Like, I know you help a lot of people with like price cycling and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, eBay is its own thing. People don't realize that if you are going to be a reseller, for starters, you shouldn't not be selling on eBay. If you're only going to sell locally, you're going to, I mean, it's like cutting off a few fingers or a hand. But eBay is a part of this skill set that is incredible because if you just know how to sell on eBay, you can sell anything, like anything, not just electronics. But things people don't realize is there is an algorithm with over 200 different touch points that's taking into consideration like all the information about you, your store, your prices, your items. But the best thing is just list stuff consistently, price it fairly, and repeat that. And you will have sales.
Yeah.
And like Chris said, if you are very new to eBay and you post things, new things, or like very, very expensive things too aggressively, it's going to say, oh, whoa, like we don't know this guy. What's he doing over here? Um, and so you just have to slow roll it to start off with, build your credibility, and stay within those boundaries. Like there, you don't want to get banned from eBay. That's not a marketplace that you don't want to be like have access to, especially when it is probably going to command the highest premium for resale value of anything anywhere. It's going to be, you're going to make more money on there than probably selling almost anything locally. You're going to make more money on that platform than any other platform like Mercari or Poshmark or Swappa or whatever the heck. Um, yeah, eBay's your friend and you should keep it that way. So pump the brake and have patience if you're new to the game. And don't put stuff up there that you go, like if you find yourself posting something and go, hmm, wonder if I should list this. Like
You probably shouldn't.
probably, yeah, like stop, okay? Just don't do it.
I think a
Um,
lot, we have a lot of students in Recelerator, and very few of them have actually been banned from eBay.
yeah,
A lot of the people that reach out to me about selling on eBay and saying they've been banned and stuff are people that, you know, um, they just didn't follow the policy, right?
yeah,
Like the
yeah,
guys in Recelerator follow the policy because they see me, and I mean, a lot of these guys are on calls with us every single week asking the right questions,
right.
right?
Yeah,
So, I mean, that's part of it is like you need to honestly, the best thing you can do is plug yourself into a community of people that are actually winning. Um, and if you can do that, it makes your life a lot easier. Um, but yeah, eBay is your friend, and don't take advice from people that probably aren't doing what you want to do. So
it's
um,
true. Yeah,
that's a big part of things too. That's a big part of life, actually. If somebody isn't doing what you want to do, probably best to not take advice from them. So, all right, let's see here. Some scaling myths. Hmm. I need to hire someone to scale. Incorrect. So, there is something that a lot of my students will reach out and He'll ask me, Chris, I'm making $5,000 a month. It's probably time I hire somebody, right? I'm like, no, you need you need to be hitting at least 10, at least $10,000 in profit a month before you even hire somebody. Here's the reason why. At $5,000 a month, you don't have a dialed system yet. You just don't. I'm just going to be real. At 10,000, you do. You have to. Okay? Because you can't do that without having a system. It's
Hmm.
very difficult to do it without one. Okay? What is a system? So, a system is a way in which you respond to your leads every single day, a way in which you meet up with your leads every single day, a way in which you sell stuff every single day. Okay?
Hmm.
And having specific systems and operations for each and every one of them. Okay,
Hmm.
so you wake up in the morning, hit your Google leads first, hit the Facebook leads, then do some reach outs. That's your morning routine right there, right? You
Yep.
do that. The next thing you do is you pack up the stuff that sold yesterday, right? And you get it, you just get it out, right?
Hmm.
Be before 12 o'clock because most leads come in after 12 o'clock. Um, you set your meetups for 12 and 5 or whatever you want to do. And like that's your meetup schedule. That's what you do to keep things simple and easy, right?
Yep.
And then the rest of the day, you do follow-ups at the end of the day, right? You need a system, all right? Matt, do you have anything on this?
Um, Outsourcing. I think some of this is just the nature of getting fed up or bored or tired of the actual work and unrealistic expectations about how long it takes. You can scale a business quickly, but probably not as quickly as you think. 30 days, you're probably overestimating what you're capable of. 90 days, you're probably underestimating what you're capable of. You
Yeah.
just need to keep these things in a realistic perspective. And then, like, once you once you're almost making money by accident, you're probably in a position where you can afford to bring on somebody else because once you're kind of like really tired of the routine that is bringing in seven, eight, $10,000 a month. Like, okay, now you probably also know it well enough to teach somebody without even like thinking about it. Like you've fleshed out all the ins and outs and different things. Like it wasn't until I had been reselling consoles for about 3 years that I was like, okay, buying and selling on eBay is basically a 9-step process. In other words, guys, it takes time to reduce things to their simplest terms. And you can't effectively teach or share anything with anybody until you know what the absolute bare bones basics are of the stuff that you're trying to convey to other people. And you need to be able to reduce any type of due process or standard operating procedure into its simplest terms. Like you need to be able to break it down elementary style. Like, can you explain it to a fifth grader kind of
Yeah.
approach?
Yep.
And um, early in the game, the only people I know that have like done that very quickly are people that also like did all the other stuff, like dialed up to like 5, 10 times. Like I think like Jackson Weaver did really great, one of our former students. Um, and Navon, of course, you've heard his name before. There's a few guys out there that have done really, really great, that brought on some VAs and stuff like that early on. But even still, it'd probably be important, Chris, to mention virtual assistants within this
Yep.
context of the conversation. You want to say something about that?
Yeah. Um, virtual
They're not
assistants.
everything they're cracked up to be.
Well, virtual assistants are great. I have three of them, right?
Yeah,
Three of them that work for me. And but I've found that they're not usually your first best hire. Um,
yeah,
a lot of people think you need to do it for like negotiation and stuff like that. A virtual assistant typically isn't very good for negotiation unless you train them really well and pay them correctly. So let me give you guys an example. The way that I hire almost everybody at this point, outside of my virtual assistants, actually, is is I hire everybody based on performance. Okay. So I hire contractors based on performance. Like Matt, if Recelerator makes more money, Matt makes more money, right? Like that's just how it works. Now some weeks are great, some weeks are not. Like that's just how it is, right?
right. Yeah,
And that's okay, right? I mean, that's how I get paid, is based on how well the program does, right? So it should be the same way in your reselling business, which is, here's what I like to do. I like to hire people and I will pay more. I will pay a premium for somebody that already knows what they're doing. Okay. Now, I had a negotiator a couple of years ago, or I guess about a year ago, and I paid him 20% of every deal that he closed, 20% of the profit. So after it sold, he got paid. All right. Um, and that was off on the first deal. Now, if he upsold anybody, he would actually get 30% of the profit. My man was incentivized to upsell, right? Now, this was all before we started scaling Mercury Electronics and stuff, and now we're just buying a whole bunch of devices from our students. So that's kind of where I've transitioned at this point. We're doing a much bigger scale and operation at this point.
Hmm.
But it's not really that different, actually. It's like, we still have, I mean, the reason we create this content is to create more resellers, therefore getting more people to sell to us, right?
Hmm.
And I mean, it's just the game, right? We're
Hmm.
leveling up. Um, but I don't think a VA should be your first hire. I mean, it can be if you want to learn, like that's fine. But there a lot of times there's a language barrier. Um, they're usually much better at admin tasks because that's kind of what they've been trained to do. They're not really trained on sales a whole lot unless you find one that's really good, which isn't, I mean, it's just not likely. They're really good with spreadsheets. They're really good with all these other things.
Yeah.
I pay mine really well too. Like I think all of my VAs right now are making 16 to $17 an hour.
Wow.
So they're not making $5. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
like my people are getting paid well. Um, but I wouldn't hire them for negotiation either. Like that's not something that I would do because negotiation is a very performance based type of
Hmm.
thing. Even hourly, it doesn't work very well. Like if you're like, hey, I'm going to pay you every day to work from 9 to 5, and I'm going to pay you $5 an hour. How incentivized are they to close deals? They're still getting paid either way,
Right.
right? Like, I mean, and that's kind of how the job market here in America works. But like, think about yourself. How incentivized are you to help the company grow if you're not getting a piece of it?
Yeah.
You just show up, do the work, and leave, right?
Yep.
So that's kind of my take on it and just what I've seen through my experience. And this is a
Yeah.
guy who has VAs. So and
Yeah.
they're great. I love my VAs. And I'm about to hire another one. So yeah, I'm just going through the ropes of the hiring process at the moment. Um, but yeah, like until you hit $10,000 in profit as a one-man show, I don't think you should hire.
Yeah.
A lot of people will be like, um, but I could scale faster if I hire somebody earlier. That's not always the case because you got to remember you got to hire that person, then you got to train them.
Yep.
How many deals could you have closed while you were like instead of training, right?
Hmm.
So like Matt said, that process has to be so fleshed out that a fifth grader could do it, because here's the real deal, guys. Nobody is going to close better in your business than you are.
Yeah.
Nobody. Okay. But if you can get somebody at 50% of you, that's who you want to hire.
Yeah.
Nobody else is going to be 100% because they're just not. It's not their business. They're not invested in it, right?
Hmm.
But if you do pay them a structured like way, like either per deal that they close, right, or a percentage of the profits, then they are invested.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's just the way that works. So, moving on to the next part here. Paid ads don't work anymore. All right, well, I still use them. So, and
Yeah.
um, so here's the reality, guys. Ads are just traffic. Honestly, what really matters is your buyback funnel and how you negotiate. All right.
Yeah.
So like I can tell like I got people that reach out to me complaining all the time, like, Chris, all my leads are trash and blah blah blah, but they're getting leads for like $1.50 to $2.50 or even dollars. And I'm just like, and I'll go through I have a good story on this actually. So I helped a guy a while back. By the way, at the time of this, we are offering, or I am anyway. Um, and just this is a plug. We are offering $150 Facebook ad setups, and that's mostly so I can get on a phone call with you and try and get you to sell us your devices. But I will set up your ads, 3 campaigns for 150 bucks. And
Dang.
hopefully you will sell us your devices after that. So if you want that, reach out. Anyway, I did that for a guy a while back, and he's like, Chris, I'm getting a lot of leads, but I can't close any of them. So I logged in, and you know what I saw? Well, I saw a bunch of leads that had not even been contacted. Like there was one in particular, like iPhone 13 Pro Max guy had messaged him, and he was like, he didn't say anything. He didn't even like the guy didn't message back. Like he didn't make an offer, he didn't do anything, or the reseller, I should say. And I was like, bro, it's no wonder you're not closing deals. You're not even sending offers, man. Like why are you saying the leads are trash when you're not even like talking to these people? So what did I do? Being Chris Schroeder, I just closed the deal for him on the spot. The guy had a 13 Pro Max. I was like, cool, we've been buying those for $180 recently. Guy said, all right, cool, where do I go? Make the offer. Like that, it's that stuff that you guys that are doing that are the same guys that are saying that paid ads don't work. And that's just a level of like, just not taking ownership for your business. That's what that is. All right.
Mhm.
Let's be real. So, yeah, they still work. Paid ads are just traffic, guys. It's just putting your name out there, putting your business out there, letting people know what you do. The rest of it is like advertising is not the thing that is going to scale your business. Okay? Like you can put up some paid ads, but if you never respond to the leads, do you think you're going to scale? Like,
Yep.
or if you don't follow up with those leads that you paid for, you
Yeah.
know, Aaron, about every other Thursday when he's teaching the class, he's like, always to the reseller all the time. It's great. I love it. He's like, all of you guys are using paid ads to bring in leads, right? And everybody's like, yeah. And like, well, you guys, you're responding to all of your leads, right? Because you paid for those leads, right? And a lot of people will, they'll be like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then he'll be like, all right, cool. How many of you guys are following up with those same leads that you paid for in the first place? And everybody's hand goes down, right? Because that it's not the sexy part, right? The sexy part is getting the lead. What I call the FU money is where it's at. It's follow-up money. That's where most of the deals are going to be made anyway.
Yeah.
The sooner you realize that, the more money you're going to make. And that goes for any business, by the way. Any business. I've worked in a lot of businesses. I've helped a lot of people. The people who follow up the best make the most money.
Mm.
So paid ads do work. You just need to be better about your process. Um,
I wish, I think there's something that you've said before too that I would like to make quick mention of, Chris, is that people got to be aware that if you're paying for ads, all you're trying to do is get conversations. Like you got to think of everything as like a conversation that's going to potentially lead to a sale, which is going to put inventory in your business. That's all it is.
yeah,
And I think you said that, but like I just wanted to kind of explicitly express that so people understand that this is having a business is about having conversations, whether it's a product or a service. You've got to facilitate those interactions to create a sale so that you can make money. That's it.
yep. All right, we got 3 questions left, and then we're gonna wrap up for today because we're going on about an hour here.
Okay.
Um, I just need the right course or software, and I will blow up.
Hmm.
So that's not true. I'm just gonna say we've had many people go in Resell Deck and everything, and still not blow up. Okay.
Yeah.
You have to have the skill set. The system, the course, the software is only going to enhance the skill that you already have. Okay.
Yeah.
This is why we give away a lot of information for free on my channel, is because I want you guys to have the skill set to do this well. Because when we plug you into our licensing system, which is Recelerator, like it's gonna work. Like
Hmm. Yeah.
it's just how well are you gonna work it? Like I guarantee you will get leads. There is not a shadow. Like we've been doing this a while. Okay.
Mhm.
I've been doing this system for 6 years. The exact same thing. Has it changed a little bit? Yeah. But guys, like if you don't have the skill set this is another reason like in the licensing program, we don't take people under 1,000 in profit per month and we don't and now there's a new one. We don't take people who don't have an LLC. All right. There's a reason for that, because I'm aiming to work with the people that are actually serious about this. Okay. Because
Yeah,
those are the people that we help. I mean, Matt, you know this. These are the people that take it seriously and work the best.
right. Entrepreneurs, not wantrepreneurs, guys.
Yeah. Like if you want a real business, Recelerator is the way to go. Price tag is high, but to license our system, it's a thing. Like you gotta to buy into a franchise costs a lot of money, you know? So but you don't need the right course. You don't need the right software. You might learn a couple of things, but like really what you need to build is your skill set. That's the real
Yeah.
that's the real thing. So you got anything to add on that, Matt?
Uh, yeah, I mean, the thing people need to bet on is themselves. Having the skill is the thing that can't be taken away. There's no AI or software or bot that is going to effectively, like, you shouldn't be reliant upon those things to do something better than you can, because if you are, those things would be a crutch if you haven't ultimately learned that unique skill yet. Um, you just, you got to have those skills, and you don't want to be outsourcing like the most raw needed material for making sales and being profitable. Like you can't do that. Like how are you go and if you were going to bring on somebody that you were going to teach, how are you going to teach something when you are crutching on something else that's doing that skill for you? You can't, because you don't know it. And so ask yourself this, like, can I teach this yet? Do I know this well enough to share it with somebody else? And, if you've outsourced some responsibility in your business and you need to kind of like backpedal here, just be aware, like, if you're saying to yourself, oh, no, I can't effectively teach that, okay, then you don't know it. And that is probably a hole,
Yeah.
like a gap in your understanding that you would want to close before you, I don't know, try to take something to the next step or level up.
Yep. So I'll be real, guys. Like, if you have never flipped a phone or electronic before, Recelerator isn't the best place to start typically. Will it work? Yeah, absolutely. But
Yeah.
if you don't have the skill sets a lot, or you don't go through and build the skill sets in there, then it
Yep.
probably won't work. All right. Like, and that's the real deal.
Yep.
But we have taken people from zero to, you know, 5, 6, 10, 10K a month. But it happens.
Takes a little longer.
It does take a little longer. I mean, Gabriel is probably our most recent one. I mean, he's up to like 6 grand in profit a month now, and he's only 4 months in, so
Yeah.
that's pretty good.
He's
Um,
also good friends with one of your best students ever,
he
so
is, yeah. So that might be one of the might be part of it.
but
um,
yeah, it's a good point.
Nice referral for sure.
I mean, well, guys, listen, if you are incredibly new and you're like, I don't know, like join Console Kings, right? You
Yeah,
can, it's $50 a month, and you just like, I'm sorry, guys, if you can't afford $47 a month, like, what are you doing? I don't know. Like,
yeah. I
but
mean,
yeah,
Console Kings is fantastic. Like,
it's it's affordable, and it's a great place to learn and fail until you stop failing.
I also get a weekly call too, which is
Yep.
$47 a month. It's nice. It's a Recelerator call too. So,
Yep. It is.
we'll go past the core stuff. I don't want to pitch you guys too much, but another common misconception here is I'm too late in the game. So that's not true. All right. There's more electronics coming out now than there ever were.
Yeah.
Aaron Goldstein the other day on one of his calls, he's like, honestly, this business is better now than it's ever been.
Yeah.
Because when me and him started, really the only thing that we were flipping was phones. That was
Yeah.
really the only opportunity that was there was phones and like iPhones and Samsungs that we were aware of, right?
Right.
But now, if you open up your Wi-Fi app on your phone and see how many different devices are connected, congratulations, you can flip all of them,
Yeah, it's true.
right? So there's more opportunity now than there has ever been before,
Mhm.
just because there's more devices now. People are flipping Meta glasses now. Like it's a thing. So be aware of that. Um, and then one last misconception here. No one's willing to sell for low enough anymore. Matt, is that true?
You stay in this long enough and you realize that, like, I don't know, you almost start feeling weird about like what you come to expect to pay for stuff because you buy enough things at such a low value that you shock yourself with these barriers and limiting beliefs you've surrounded with like what you think items are worth and people are willing to pay and how much they want for it. Like, no. Like there's always somebody out there who's probably willing to sell their device to you for a lower price than you probably think or would expect. You probably just haven't spoken to them yet, or you haven't had enough conversations, or you're approaching it, negotiation wise in the wrong manner. But it's definitely not the fact that people don't sell items for low amounts anymore. Everybody needs money, and a lot of people need cash more than they need their stuff. All you're looking for is a conversation with that person. And once you find that conversation with that person, you're probably going to close it. You just got to approach it the right way.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that's a bunch of questions that we went through to help you guys kind of get a better idea on some common myths and misconceptions about the industry. I hope we were able to answer a bunch of them. This is, with the tariffs and everything going on, guys. Like this is a great business to be in
Hmm.
because it's hard to kill. Like it's a very difficult business to just kill.
Yeah.
A lot of people create in their mind like, oh no, this economic whatever is gonna like annihilate reselling. Guys, reselling is every business in the world resells. That's basically what it is. I mean,
Yep.
unless you're like a service-based business, right? Which, where you're selling your knowledge and skills for money, right? Like that's different. But
Yeah.
like Walmart resells stuff, right? Like all of the large businesses in the world resell stuff.
Yeah. Look at Bucky's.
I love Buc-ee's.
Bucky's is rad. Go Texas, Bucky's.
Got multiple Buc-ee's right around. I love Buc-ee's. But like every business in the world resells. So why is this one any different? We just do it in a different medium, right? We buy
Right.
it from a local consumer and we sell online to a different consumer, right? Like
Yeah.
guys, it's a great business to be in and it's very difficult to just kill it. Um, I mean, if you guys look at the repair industry right now, it's kind of dying. Like, I'm gonna be real with you guys. Like, I mean, if the tariffs go through, which at the time you guys are listening to this, like repair costs are going to go sky high because where do they import most of their stuff? From overseas.
Yeah.
How does the reselling game work? Well, we buy locally, domestically, and we sell locally or domestically on eBay.
Yeah.
It all happens within the same place, right? No effect. So honestly, with what's going on in the political climate, like reselling it probably actually is going to get better because if everything ends up costing more, people are going to sell more stuff and they're going to
People,
buy more used stuff.
that's right. People are always going to need cash, and you're putting yourself in a position to be that source. So how could that not go well?
Yeah. So I loved it. That's why I keep coming. That's why I kept coming back to this business.
Yeah.
It's because it cannot die. Like there's no killing it, right?
Yeah.
So, um, with that being said, guys, check out Console Kings. Little plug there. If you guys are looking to get started in this, it's $47 a month. It's super cheap. Um, we do have a new program since we did just upload. And I don't like to pitch, but I want to make sure you guys know what's out there. Just to get the right information correctly and in the right way from the right people. Since we did update the guidelines for our licensing program with Recelerator, so you guys can license our model. To you have to be doing over $1,000 in profit a month currently, not in the past anymore. currently, and you have to have an LLC. All right. If you don't know how to create an LLC, go to ChatGPT, learn how to use that, right? And then literally ask it, how do I get an LLC in this state? And it'll literally give you directions and it'll send you the links on top of that. So um, those are the two requirements for joining Recelerator and licensing our model. Okay. Now we did just create a new program for those people that don't have that. All right. It's called Momentum. Um, and Momentum it's pretty simple. You get access to our weekly calls. You get access to the community, and that's it. And it's one of those things that you can cancel anytime. There's no minimum monthly thing. There's no contract. None of that. You just join. If you feel like you're done learning, you can just leave, and that's how it works. And it's pretty simple. So I wanted to create that for the people that don't have the LLCs, don't want to get the LLCs and stuff like that, but still want to
Mhm.
learn, right? So with that being said, guys, this has been another episode of the Smart Flip. By the way, if you are interested in Momentum, you got to reach out to me directly. I'll let you know. By the way, it's offered right now. It might not be offered in the future. So
Yeah.
I do want to asterisk there. Like, if it
Seize the
becomes too much
moment.
for us to keep up with, or it doesn't work out the way we expect it to, well, then it just won't be available anymore. So um, just so you guys are aware. So reach out to me, see if it's available. I think I'm probably going to limit it to certain spots because I haven't made a public announcement for it yet. This is the first one actually. So, but hope you guys have a great day. See you guys next Friday and keep crushing it.